how does one little pill know it's supposed to work for exactly 8 hours? Or how it knows when to start and when to stop? It's a great question, and I promise you, it's not magic.
Nope, not magic at all. The answer is all about this hidden journey, this kind of secret mission with 4 distinct stages that every single drug has to complete once it's inside your body. Okay, so what do we call the science of mapping out this mission? It has a bit of a fancy name, pharmacokinetics, but all it really means is the study of what your body does to a drug.
To put it another way, pharmacokinetics is just tracking the drug, from the second it gets in to everything that happens to it, all the way until it leaves. And there's a super handy abbreviation for this whole process, ADME.
ADME. So what in the world does that stand for? Well, A is for absorption. That's the drug getting into your blood. D is for distribution. It's traveling to where it needs to go. M is for metabolism. Your body starts breaking it down. And E is for excretion, getting rid of what's left. That's it. ADME. That's the entire mission right there in 4 letters.
All right, let's kick things off with the first part of the journey. We'll call it the ascent. This is where the drug finally hits your bloodstream and its concentration starts to climb.
Okay, check this out. This graph right here is basically our mission map. It's the most important tool we've got. The vertical axis shows you how much drug is in your blood, and along the bottom, you have time. This simple curve tells us the entire life story of that drug in your body.
So you see where the curve starts to go up. Our first major checkpoint is right here. It's called the onset of action. This is the exact moment the concentration gets high enough for the drug to start doing its job. The mission is officially a go. Now, as more of the drug gets absorbed, that concentration keeps climbing and climbing until, bam, it hits the very top. This summit is called Cmax, or peak plasma concentration. This is the moment of maximum power, where the rate of the drug coming in perfectly balances the rate of it being cleared out. Okay, so we've hit the peak. Now comes maybe the most critical part of the whole mission, staying in what we call the effective zone. And this zone is what we call the therapeutic window. You can see it highlighted right here. Think of it as the Goldilocks zone, the sweet spot. You want the drug's concentration to be just right, strong enough to work, but not so strong that it becomes dangerous.
So this window has a floor and a ceiling, right? The floor is the minimum effective concentration, or MEC. If you're below that level, the drug just isn't doing anything. The ceiling is the maximum safe concentration, MSC. Go above that line and you're risking toxic side effects. The whole game is to keep that drug level right between these 2 lines.
So, remember that question from the very beginning about the 8-hour pill? Well, here is your answer. The duration of action is simply how long the drug's concentration stays above that floor, the MEC. That's it. That's how long the mission is in its effective phase.
But you know the saying, what goes up must come down. After hitting that peak, the body's cleanup crew, metabolism, and excretion, they really kick into high gear, and the drug's concentration starts its long descent.
So how do we actually measure how fast it's going down? The key idea here is something called half-life, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just the time it takes for your body to get rid of exactly half the drug. It's kind of like the mission's cooldown timer.
Now, this formula might look a little intimidating, but the idea behind it is actually really simple. A drug's half-life isn't just a random number. It's controlled by 2 main things: how widely the drug spreads out in your body, that's the VD, and how quickly your body clears it out, that's the CL. So if it spreads out a lot or is cleared slowly, you're going to have a longer half-life. What if we want to measure the entire mission? You know, the total impact from start to finish. For that, we look at something called the area under the curve, or AUC. It's basically a single number that represents the total exposure your body had to that drug over the whole journey. And the AUC is super useful because we can use it to compare different situations. Like, on the left, you've got the total exposure from just one single pill. But on the right, you can see how taking multiple doses keeps the drug level up in the body, which is what you need for chronic conditions.
Okay, Cmax, half-life, AUC. We've thrown a lot of terms at you. But why does any of this actually matter in the real world? Well, this is the mission debrief, where we see how all this science actually helps people. Look, understanding this whole journey is absolutely crucial for doctors and pharmacists. It's how they figure out the perfect dosage regimen, how much of a drug to give and how often to give it. It's all about making sure the drug works, keeping you safe from toxic effects, and, of course, managing long-term illnesses properly.
And really, when you boil it all down, it comes to this one number, the therapeutic index. It's just a ratio. You take that maximum safe concentration and divide it by the minimum effective concentration. It's the ultimate safety score for a drug.
Which brings us to probably the most important takeaway of this whole thing. It's simple. The higher the therapeutic index, the safer the drug is. A big index means a wide therapeutic window, which means the drug is pretty forgiving. A narrow one, that means the dose has to be perfect.
So there you have it. We've mapped the entire mission of a drug. But here's a final thought for you. This map isn't the same for every single person. So what kind of things do you think could change this journey? Things like your age, your genes, even how well your kidneys are working. They can all change the story. But that's a topic for another time. Thanks for joining us.